All right, good evening. It is 6:33. I'd like to call the EDC meeting to order. Item number 2, roll call and excused absences. We have Derek Otto. And then we have Cody Hicks and Kinderlin, right? So, can I get a motion to excuse?
The only one that would be excused would be Derek Ottman because he was the only one that sent an email.
Okay. Can I get a motion to excuse Derek Ottman?
I'll make a motion to excuse Derek Oppen.
Okay, I have a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
A second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, perfect. Motion passes. Now, do I need to address the other two? No, I'll put them down. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, item number 3, invocation moment of silence. Would you please take a moment for a moment of silence? All right, thank you. Item 4, pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, item number 5, citizens be heard, and we do. So you're gonna make me read small print. Yeah, right. Okay, this is the only time during the Cibolo Economic Development Corporation meeting that a citizen can address the corporation. It is the opportunity for visitors and guests to address the CEDC on any issue to include agenda items. All visitors wishing to speak must fill out the sign-in roster prior to the start of the meeting. The CDC may not deliberate any non-agenda issue, nor may any action be taken on any non-agenda issue at this time. However, the CDC may present any factual response to items brought up by citizens. Attorney General Opinion, JC 0169, and this is limited to 3 minutes each. All remarks shall be addressed to the corporation as a body. Remarks may also be addressed to any individual of the CDC so long as the remarks are about matters of local public concern and not disruptive to the meeting or threatening to the member or any attendee. Any person violating this policy may be requested to leave the meeting, but no person may be requested to leave or forced to leave the meeting because of the viewpoint expressed. This meeting is live streamed. If anyone would like to make comments on any matter regarding the city of Cibolo or an agenda item and have this item read at this meeting, please email psimics@cibolotexas.gov and vchapman@cibolotx.gov or telephone 210-566-6111 before 5 p.m., the date of the meeting. Okay, great. So I believe we have citizens to be heard. So with no further ado, please come on up, gentlemen.
Howdy, everybody. My name's Nick Dyer. This is my business partner, Josh Pollock. We're with Ocotillo Capital Partners. We have an agenda item or a item for y'all on this you going to discuss during executive session. We're not here to talk too much about that or really at all. Just wanted to introduce ourselves really quick during this public portion. We're Ocotillo Capital Partners, our company. We're a real estate investor and developer based in San Antonio. And we focus mostly on industrial, but also kind of land investments. And those are industrial is sort of the project that we've got in front of you guys to discuss. But as far as our history and kind of what we're working on presently, just to give you a sense of who we are, we've got a couple projects in Schertz, one in the ETJ off of 1518, kind of right across from the Crossvine community there. Not too far from here. And then we've got another project over on IH-35 and like Schwab Road in Schertz. And then we've got multiple properties in the San Antonio area. One of them is industrial property, some residential land, and then we develop industrial on the border as well. We've got a project upcoming in Laredo, and then 2 projects we've recently built in the Rio Grande Valley. So we are, as a firm, we were focused on Central and South Texas. We both had careers outside of the San Antonio area that have led to us doing projects all over the state and all over the country. I've lived my whole life and career in Texas, but Josh has gallivanted around from New York to Portland and Denver and
Mostly in
Seattle.
Texas.
Yeah, a lot of Texas. But
Mostly.
we brought him back. He moved back here from New York. He moved back here this year, and so I'm excited to have him back here so we can run our business together, boots on the ground. But yeah, that's what we're working on, and we just wanted to let y'all know who we were, so whenever y'all discuss our project, you have a sense of who are the guys on the other side. So
Sure.
I can answer any questions, but that's all we had.
Sure. I appreciate it. Thanks for putting a face to the name, gentlemen. So, do we have any questions? Or, I guess we can't really address questions, right? Never mind, I was just kidding.
Can I just,
I do appreciate it, gentlemen. And, guys.
I do have a
I read this long
clarification.
paragraph. I guess we only can address factual matters. We can't ask.
I just want a clarification on what they said. Is that okay?
Okay.
Yeah, so I may have missed, are you based in San Antonio? Is that where your home base is, right? Okay, that's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening. Okay, item number 6. All items listed below are, I guess, is that everybody, Peggy, that signed up? Okay, cousin, okay, thank you. Item number 6, consent agenda. All items listed below are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the corporation will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a corporation member requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda. Item 6A, approval of minutes of September 19, 2024, regular call meeting. Item 6B, approval of financial and sales tax reports of August 2024. And 6C, approval of reimbursement to the City of Cibolo General Fund for staff time working on Cibolo Economic Development Corporation projects for September 2024. If we don't have any questions, comments, or concerns, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve item 6, consent agenda 6A, 6B, and 6C as written.
Okay, perfect. I have a motion. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Perfect. Motion passes. Excuse me. Item 7A, discussion action regarding implementation of the Strategic Economic Development Plan. Isabel Ellis.
All
Good
right.
evening.
Good evening, Board. All right, so the Cibolo City Council approved the Strategic Economic Development Plan at the July 23rd, 2024 City Council meeting. The implementation strategy, which can be found in Chapter 7 of the plan, is organized into 6 general topic areas, which is business retention and expansion, business recruitment, existing asset development, toolbox development, outreach, communication, and marketing, and organization and coordination. So these topics were presented and reviewed with the Cibolo EDC Board of Directors and the City Council in joint work sessions, and then refined into economic development goals. So the plan consultant provided priority actions for consideration on pages 7-6 to 7-16, and at last month's meeting, the board discussed prioritizing the implementation items so that an action plan can be developed for fiscal year 25. So we asked each board member to submit their top 10 implementation items, and staff received rankings of the items from 3 board members. And so you'll see here, and I did put in a handout because Agenda Link kind of cut the table off, so I printed a new copy for you guys so you can read that a little bit better. But the following are categorized by which implementation items were repeatedly selected in the board's rankings. So you can see at the top here, we have one that appeared in all 3 board members' rankings, some that appeared in 2 out of the 3, and then some that appeared in just 1 out of the 3 there. And so to keep in mind for discussion, the EDC does have $75,000 budgeted this fiscal year for implementation items. And so kind of what we want to do is kind of kick it back over to you guys for discussion on out of these items, kind of what we want prioritized. And based on the final selection of implementation items that the board would like to move forward with, staff will begin working on the RFP reflecting the board's requested scope of work. So I will hand it back to you guys.
Perfect. So this is my initial thought for the 3 board members that provided the information. I do appreciate your input. And I know we said only 10, However, when we're sort of looking at this and how we're going to set up this contract and RFP, I would prefer to keep all of it because I think it's important, right? And again, when we do establish some sort of a professional service contract, we can prioritize it with them, right? Because in general sense, we're not really going to have a PWS, if you will, a performance work statement, only specifically addressing this, probably more in a general sense, right? And then once we get to and establish a relationship or a contract with a company, then we can go into, okay, item, well, it looks like maintain a local comprehensive property and asset was pretty important to at least 3 out of the 7 board members. And so we can prioritize with all those. And I think tonight, you know, unless if there's something, maybe I'll give you guys an extension to this task for the individuals that didn't do it for whatever reason, even though you had a whole month, right? Stash, you obviously have an excuse. But I think this is great groundwork to help establish sort of a general sense to the statement of work or the PWS. And I think we should include it all, right? I mean, this is very important. I know it's a little bit more than 10, but nevertheless, we could focus on the ones that were 3-3 and 2-3 out of the board members. That looks about 10 to 12. However, I don't want to lose sight on the ones that only appeared in one of the 3 board members, right? So, go ahead, Sash. You got comments, questions?
Mr. Chair, I want to address specifically item number 2.2. You know, I'd like to, you know, second that one and maybe move that up. And by doing that, we have a Cibolo EDC video out, and it's got the prior mayor on it. And I think that we really need to bump up our efforts to try to clean that up and put the current mayor on that video, as
Okay.
he's, you know, the amount of time he spends, and he's really the face of our community, and I think that needs to be addressed.
So last month, we did approve and accept the work product from, Blue Horizon, which has the new mayor for the EDC. So we definitely did that. But we can still bring it up. And so what I'm trying to say in a general sense, categorically, all these are great initiatives, and I don't want to lose sight of all of them. And so the way I want to structure this RFP, just sort of like how we structured you know, the professional services agreement, is essentially, you know, do something along those lines. And then when the time comes, then the board members will all get together, we all had our opportunity, and we'll start saying, hey, 3.2, right? Or 1.2, and we'll look at what that'll actually look like, and then we'll develop sort of an additional scope at that time. And I think that's the best way moving forward, because we're not going to necessarily, again, we have to look at our left and right need bounds. We only have an X amount of budget and time, of course, and we have a pretty big comprehensive plan. So, but again, I do, you know, Stash, if you do get a chance, you know, you can take this home too if you want to, you know, bring to the next meeting.
Yep, certainly will.
But as of right now, I think this is a great start, and let's, you know, start the RFP process to be issued in, I guess we could solicit it now if we had time, and not awarded until FY25, right? Is that the plan? I'm sorry, you're right. Yeah, we're in FY, it's been really busy for me. Yes, you are correct. We are in FY25. So, yeah, on the first. No, you're correct. So, can we talk about what is the staff's plan on that, on the RFP with this, or just wanted to talk about the elements that we wanted to look at?
Yeah, I think it was more of a discussion on the elements, because I know based on discussion at last month, it was kind of to get a better idea or direction on if we wanted the RFP to outline specific implementation items. But if the direction is to include all, and then kind of, I guess, put in a condition that at a later time that the board will kind of hone in on what those items
Yeah,
will be for
yeah.
the implementation for this fiscal year, we can proceed with the RFP that way if you
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely want to incorporate sort of a generic statement that this is the type of work we're going to be looking for,
Sure.
right? And we want them to have that sort of past performance or technical expertise, and these are the things we're looking for. Now, not necessarily obligating the EDC or the CEDC to do those things right now, but we can at least convey to them that these are the type of work that we expect in the future, right? So, in addition to maybe some other items that we might like. I mean, they might be very efficient and not that expensive, and maybe we might be able to go beyond, and that'd be great, right? Right, so I wouldn't want to restrict us in the RFP,
Okay,
right?
sure,
To that effect, as far as the scope.
got it.
And so I guess we're talking about the elements. I guess what is connected would be sort of, as far as direction. I would like to try to get this RFP. I know obviously, we're going to be, we're having some personnel changes, right? But realistically, could we perceive about issuing something in about 90 days, maybe after the holidays, maybe to start? Is that, and then obviously we
Yes.
can, have Mr. Garza take a look at it, see, make sure we're on the, we don't have any legal objections, right?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And we'll get with the procurement and our finance department to kind of
Yes.
get a clear timeline on that, but I don't see any issues with the 90
Okay,
day.
okay. I mean, if we do issue it before Thanksgiving and, Christmas and New Year's, then if we do that, then I would just say we'd probably want to have a little bit longer time on the,
Yes,
and
account
the
for that.
solicitation phase.
Right.
Just, everybody's traveling, having fun, making memories, so.
Yes.
And then I guess we can discuss making a small subcommittee as well as far as the evaluation. We could probably
Correct.
put that, I'll keep that tabled until future agenda items, so. But does anybody else have any further comments?
Sounds good.
Sounds good? Okay. Perfect, thank you, ma'am. Okay, item 7B, discussion action selecting and approving up to 3 members of the Cibolo Economic Development Corporation Board to act as a small business grant committee member. Isabel Ellis.
So, for those of you who were here at the last board meeting, so I did kind of go over our business improvement grant program. And so at the end of presenting on that, there was quite a bit of discussion about not only that grant program, but just kind of small business grants in general. And so staff kind of had the idea of possibly establishing up to three board members for a subcommittee to work with city staff and the EDC attorney on ideas for potential new grant programs. And then these identified grant programs will then be brought back to the entire EDC board for consideration at a future date. So if we have any board members who would be interested in being a part of that subcommittee, we would love to have you and have those discussions keep going.
I mean, quite honestly, participating in these boards is a vital part of, volunteering on the EDC, and I think this is very important, obviously, to show a concerted effort from the Economic Development Corporation of supporting small businesses. Does anybody here currently right now would like to be on sort of a subcommittee to help develop the idea of an additional grant program on top of the big?
I got a question.
Yes.
Am I allowed to be on it?
Why?
Because he has a big grant.
Because in the mix of having the big grant and I have property here as a small business.
Having property would not disqualify you.
Well,
The fa-
business.
Business would not disqualify you. The question is, something that would have to be addressed is if the guidelines that are developed could potentially benefit your business, the perception would be not good per the city's ethics ordinance. Because not only does it has rules, it also prohibits the perception of violations.
Right.
So I think if your intent is to eventually maybe again apply for a grant, my recommendation is you not serve so that there is that perception is not there.
It'd be a while before I'd even be able to do that, so.
I mean, if you
I'd
think,
stay away from it, Justin,
Yeah.
just to be on the safe side.
Yeah.
I mean, but also too, I'll be really frank with you. I mean, the inputs potentially that you might be on a program is going to be subject to everybody's review,
Yeah.
right? And so again, we are looking for something that is not going to be favor or being partial to a particular company. So as far as the conflict of interest we all came up with the idea of coming up with a small business. You being a small business doesn't necessarily, I think personally, you would have to recuse yourself from that. But
I think it'd be
if you don't want to.
easier to keep myself out of it, just so there's no obligation. Nothing can be said about it. It's just
Okay.
easier that way. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll stay
Because
with-
also too, keep in mind, we're probably at least 6 months away before we even come up with any type of small business program, standard operating procedure. And so now, in the event that you decided to submit something, you would have to recuse yourself on the approval,
Yeah, right.
right? Just like you did on the big program.
Yeah.
So nevertheless, okay, so we'll rule you out on the subcommittee. That's fine.
I think
Okay, I got 2
Patty
out.
Quine would be great, and also Cody Hicks.
Yeah, so I just want, so we would be working with staff, and we were looking for other opportunities for grants.
So
I'm
I'd
in.
say like
Yeah.
brainstorming.
Yeah,
I don't think you're actually
in.
going to be putting down anything to paper, but
I might.
eventually we're going to have to write a grant, small business, we'll just coin it as a small business grant program. We're going to
Yes.
have guidelines and procedures, just like we do now, which I'm sure would be very similar with some variations. You know,
I'm in.
so
I'd like to do it.
you'd like to do it?
Yeah,
Okay.
it'll be fun.
And then I guess you're going to use the same, that you're a small business as well? Do you want to be a part of it as well, or?
If nobody else wants to, I'd be glad to. I helped start this program last time I was on EDC, so.
Okay, you helped start the big program? Okay,
We
perfect.
need you, yeah, come on.
So Stoss Bull obviously wants to volunteer to be subcommittee.
That'd be great.
And then,
Send me an email.
I say David Ottman as well.
That would have us at 4, because we currently have Cody Hicks, Patricia
Well, that was a
Kaim.
suggestion. We'll remove Cody Hicks.
Oh,
We'll put
okay.
David Ottman.
Bye, Cody.
I know Derek had some feedback and some ideas. That
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
I like it.
Perfect.
And then obviously anything that is proposed during the subcommittee is obviously going to be brought to the entire corporation
Yes.
for consideration and review, inputs and things of that nature, so.
Mr. Chair, for the record, we have a motion to appoint those 3 to the subcommittee.
Absolutely. So can I get a motion to appoint the 3 individuals that we just identified, which is going to Ms. Kaim, Mr. Boyle, and Mr. Ottman?
I'll make a motion to appoint Ms. Kaim, Mr. Boyle, and Mr. Ottman to the Cibolo Economic Corporation Small Business Grant Committee.
Okay, is that sufficient? Okay, perfect. So I got a motion? Well, we don't have a second yet, ma'am.
Second.
Okay, we have a second, ma'am. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, perfect. Motion passes. Thanks, Ms.
What'll be our first meeting time? Can we establish that now, or?
Yeah, we could establish that now. Do we have good availability to do, maybe look at first week of November? Would that work for everybody?
And then also, just to let you know that you could meet in person or
Teams are virtual, right? You can, because it's not a quorum, it's not a meeting, it's not nothing formal. So, yeah, of course. So I would just defer down to y'all and say if you guys want to do it virtual, and that's probably the easiest, so everybody's at the comfort of their vehicle or home or,
Yeah.
yeah.
Perfect.
So-
I'll email everybody maybe some date options. We'll give some weeks and then we'll figure out what works best for everyone and we can get that set up.
Okay, perfect. Thank you,
Now,
ma'am.
who on the city staff will be working with us?
It's gonna be me,
Yep, everything's going to be,
and then of course our EDC attorney as well.
Okay,
okay, perfect.
thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, item 8. I need to say the time, right? It is 6:57. Item 8, executive session. The Cibolo Economic Development Corporation will convene an executive session as authorized by the Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, Section 551.071. Excuse me, consultation with attorney, and 551.087, economic development, to deliberate and seek legal advice regarding the following. 8A, Project Rev. Time is 6:57 PM, so we'll go to executive session.
Way to be, Mr. Chair. Flying through it.
Boom. Boom. Boom.